Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to the Cruise Amigos Live. Notice I'm not saying live from London anymore. We're doing a little rebranding. I didn't even tell John that. I just said Cruise Amigos Live because we hadn't been going live from London forever anyway. We were going from Manchester or on some boat someplace.
Yeah.
So it's just Cruise Amigos Live. That means that we're live. So,
yeah, I'm okay.
And over here next to me, see, I got the point down. I'm pointing in the right direction. That's Cruise Amigo John. He's up there in Crookston, Minnesota. Is it still raining up there?
No, but we got a couple inches, and that's just been a godsend. We just it's been so well. I don't know how many months it's been since we've had measurable rain, and to get any kind of rain has just been wonderful. And this did not help the crops at all. Of course, the grain is all off.
Yeah.
But it will help the soil anyway, at least. And it's just been the drought of droughts. This is the most dry year since they've been measuring rainfall. So
yeah,
terrible.
Well, one place that it certainly isn't dry right now is up there in and about New York City up through New England.
Wow. They're getting hammered, huh?
Well, we had landfall about 12:15. Actually, in Rhode Island, just across the state line from Connecticut.
Ooh.
So the actual, real, honest to God landfall was Rhode Island, which is a little bit east of where they'd been projecting all along.
Mm-hmm.
Started seeing where it was going to move that way. I started watching during the night last night.
Okay.
But once it got to the cold water up there, about 40, 50 miles south of Long Island, once it got that cooler water, man, it just cut it in half. So it's like 50 mile an hour now. So, I mean, it went from there was only a level 1, but it just went down.
You could have a barbecue in the backyard then. I mean,
yeah.
No big deal.
But the interesting thing about this one, this is a left-handed storm.
Yeah.
Everything on the left side of the storm is where you got all the rain. So before it even had landfall today, you had, New York was getting hammered. Like, I think Brooklyn had 6.5 inches of rain. Central Park was over 5 inches of rain. Hoboken, New Jersey was like underwater.
But now it wasn't that many years ago that the subway tunnels flooded and stuff. What happened? You remember that?
That was in like 91 or something.
Oh, no way. No. It's been since I've been here that happened.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, this was the first storm like this in 30 years, they said.
Okay.
But it was all left-handed. So now, if this is the jog it's on. It came ashore, and it's jogging off to the left, and then it's going to head up toward, Nova Scotia and New Brunswick up that way. But it's going to rain like crazy through tomorrow, maybe into Tuesday, again on the left side of the storm. Like earlier today, Philadelphia was getting nailed from this event because it wrapped around to the left side. The right side of the storm, which is normally where we see all the rain, had the wind and the storm surge. So that one was a little bit different than normal.
Okay.
But lots of rain. So,
okay.
And there's going to be a lot more. So you guys up there, stay safe.
Emily, what's going on up there? She's up there.
And I have no idea if they have power. There's power out all over the place. I've got a bunch of friends that live out on Long Island, and I got some friends in the city and stuff that a little concerned about because it's a lot more water than they're used to. So.
Yeah.
Gretchen's with us. She says hello, good afternoon to all. Katie's with us.
Hey.
Jack's with us down in Conroe, Texas. It's 91 degrees. Jack, I'm right with you. It was 91 here last time I looked. Allison's with us. Howdy from Haggisland. That's over there in Scotland. Nikki's with us from down in Jacksonville. Jack says, in my youth, that was the 50s, yeah, we're the same age, the majority of the hurricanes went up the East Coast. Now they seem to be all over the map.
Yeah, that's right.
So I remember a couple when I was a kid that were just Hazel. That's one that I remember when I was like 5 or 6 years old. It came through Virginia. That was awful.
Katie, ask Emily, when is the last time that the New York City subways flooded? I remember it as being just a few years ago, but I could be completely wacky about that. So,
and that one is just, I have no memory of that whatsoever.
Yeah, so, it just seems to me. NYC flooding history, subway flooding history.
Well, while you're looking up subway history,
yeah,
I want you to know I have some really bad news to impart on you.
Bad news.
Oh, yeah. Mike Kauser says Hurricane Sandy. Now that rings a bell.
Yeah.
That could be what you're talking about there, John.
Sandy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hurricane Sandy, Nikki says in 2012 hit New York hard.
That's right.
That might be the one John's thinking of.
Yep.
So we got two people there that both said Sandy. So
yeah,
I'm going to say that collectively they're a lot smarter than you and I are.
October 29th.
We're going to decide that what you're talking about is Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah.
We voted 2-0 in favor of them.
Yep. Okay.
Now I got some terrible, terrible news to impart on you.
No.
American Airlines. You know, they fly some of those airplanes that we get on sometimes that go get on cruise ships and stuff.
Yeah.
They will not serve alcohol in coach
ever
until at least 2022.
No any flight, not even to like across the big water or anything?
No alcohol at least until 2022.
What is up with that? What's the
well, because people are getting drunk and being nasty to stewards and stewardesses, I guess. I don't know. They're drinking too much, maybe.
I can tell you a story about that on KLM.
Well, wait, before we get to that, American and Southwest Airlines have suspended alcohol sales, had suspended early in the pandemic. Southwest hasn't decided what they're going to do yet, if they're going to extend it or not. It's supposed to expire in September. American's going on with it. United has stopped selling hard liquor, but they're still selling beer, wine, and seltzer. Now you can go to KLM.
15 years ago, I was flying and ended up on a KLM flight from Minneapolis to Amsterdam, 747.
Okay.
I was in about row 30 on an aisle. And at that time, I was drinking a lot in my life. And my MO for getting on that through the night flight was where they would come around with the beverage service and I would order two of their little airplane bottles of wine. And I would kind of drink them down. And then with dinner, I would order two more. And then they'd come around again after and I'd get a Bailey's. And between all of that and the meal, that kind of put me to sleep. So, and I had been doing that. I think that was my 4th crossing that year. And I kind of had this methodology down really good. So, but this was the first time on KLM. For some reason, I was on the KLM shared code flight rather than being on Northwest Orient or Delta. I'm not sure when Delta kind of kicked in. So anyway, and there was this little steward on the working my side of the coach. And so he came by and, what would you like to drink? And I said, I'd like 2 bottles of the red wine, please. He said, we can only give you 1. And I said, why is that? And he says, because of rage in the cabin, people are getting drunk and causing trouble. Now, understand, I'm tickled, right? I'm on like my 3rd or 4th trip in the year to go to Europe. I'm just there for fun. I am not angry or anything like that. I'm going, so I just respond with, well, did you ever think that people might get pissed because you don't give them the alcohol they want? You know, I mean, it was just the responding line from my kind of, have you ever thought of, and he goes, oh, so we're going to have some trouble with you today, sir. And I'm going, oh, fuck, you know, and it's like, no. I'm just trying to explain. Look, I have this method, you know, I drink 2, then I drink 2, then I drink 1, and then I go and I sleep all night. Well, the purser says 1. And I said, okay. And so he gives me my 1, and then dinner comes and he gives me my 1, you know. And then the after drink comes and I get my Baileys, and I'm literally up all night. I'm up all night partly because I'm ticked, right? I mean, I'm just angry because it's like, you know, dude, I'm a happy going to my place in Berlin guy, you know, I'm not a rage kind of guy. And, you know, and so he kept coming around, you know, can I offer you a beverage or anything? I says, no, dude, I wanted it then. I had my plan. You screwed up my plan. And, you know, did you win? I mean, are you happy? You know, are you happy that you won? You know, did it do you okay? Oh, I was, you know, it's like, I can see why there would be rage on an airplane. It's like, all I wanted was my little plan to work, because it always worked before. So I got to Amsterdam and I was, now I'm tired, right? Because I haven't slept all night and it's morning in Europe, and it ruined, I mean, it took me 2 days to get going over there. But anyway, that's my story anyway. But it's like, well, of course you're going to have rage on the airplane when you don't give people what they want to drink. Because that was back in the freewheeling, you know, handed out days. And it was the first time that I had been curtailed. And I was curtailed before I even had a drink in my hand. Yeah. So it's like, but I you know, I don't know what's right. You know, certainly you don't want that kind of anger and stuff on an airplane. On the other hand, it's like, are you sure you don't want to give them all the booze they want? Yeah,
Katie's just too much violence. And Emily says, John looks like he's in a professional studio.
Oh, well, yes, so, those are big speakers. No, what's happened is my green screen was borrowed by the Save the Cathedral group for the big city thing. They were doing you stand in front of a green screen and then they merged your picture with a picture of the old cathedral in town that they're trying to save. There's a new cathedral, and the Catholic Church has wiped their hands of the old cathedral, but there's a group that's trying to save it for posterity. It's an amazing building. It's the one of only 2 cathedrals in the United States that has 3 spires.
Now, is this in Crookston?
In Crookston, yeah.
Has a cathedral?
Well, a cathedral means it's where the bishop in an area, the word
okay,
cathedral.
So this is the greater diocese of Crookston.
Right. Well, yeah, it's the Crookston diocese. Funny you mentioned that, but it means that it's where the bishop holds court, basically. Yeah. And then it becomes a cathedral rather than just the Catholic Church. And so, yes, and it was built in 1902, give or take.
I guess what surprises me is I picture Crookston as being a much smaller place than apparently it is.
Well, it was the crossroads in its day. It was the crossroads of two railroads and 2 highways. And it was, you know, it only lost out because there were certain powers that tried to hold power in Crookston and didn't think of expanding and letting it go. That started in the 60s, actually, when Crookston lost its status because Ski-Doo, Bombardier, or Bombardier. Do you say Bombardier or Bombardier?
I say Bombardier, but I could be wrong.
But actually, the word is Bombardier, but it's got an R at the end, and so I always knew it as Bombardier Ski-Doo, right? But you know, they make beautiful jets now. I don't know if you know that, but the Bombardier private jets are incredible. But they wanted to come to town to build right when snowmobiles were just starting in America, before Polaris and Arctic Cat, which are both Minnesota companies. They wanted to put an assembly plant in Crookston, and the mafia in Crookston, as they were known as, didn't get their cut. They didn't get it They didn't buy the land from them or build it where they wanted or whatever. And so they turned down their permit and said that we didn't have enough water for them to be able to put their assembly plant in. And we lost that. And that's where the great Crookston downfall started.
Okay.
So, but no, Crookston was a big, powerful town at one time.
And Katie just asked a question that I guess I should have answered already. Where is Martin?
Martin.
Amigo
he's with
Martin.
Abraham. He's with Abraham and John.
Yeah. He is playing rugby. No, he is the rugby football. He's out in the middle of a rugby field getting kicked around or whatever you do in rugby. I know about as much about rugby as I know about brain surgery.
Well, one of the rules
couldn't play
about
in
rugby
high
is that
school,
there are
I
no
don't know
rules.
anything about it.
Rugby's like Fight Club. And the first rule is there are no rules.
Oh, okay.
You can just devastate the other guys.
Well, they are at some rugby match that was late starting because the wind was blowing or I don't know, something. So he says, I can't be there today because I'm at rugby. Okay.
Yes, Emily, rugby is incredibly rougher than football. I mean, these guys live to beat each other up. It's just an amazing.
Gretchen reports that on her last flight, Spirit, on July the 10th, I got a Bloody Mary, and the steward suggested I get a double, which I happily obliged. I'm shocked, Gretchen.
You know,
absolutely shocked.
Now, as a current non-drinker, but that's what I call service. You see, it's like, hey, I'm not going to be around for a while, so let me double you up here. See? Yeah.
I am not a non-drinker. I would have been right with you, Gretchen.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else we got up here? Rugby is rougher than football. Yes, it is. I was, let's see, where was I? Speaking of wine. No, I didn't see that one. Emily says, speaking of wine. I ordered a kind of special 6-pack of wine from her wine company. A 6-pack of bottles. You usually get bottles of wine. So you got 6 bottles of wine company.
Half a case.
And that'll last you a night, right? Let's see. Jack says, I'm a winner. Her next AA flight is January 2022, and it's first class. He'll be able to have alcohol. Yep, and unless they extend it further again, they'll be back in business by the time you're on American next time.
Where are you going, Jack? Where's point A to point B? Where are you headed?
We'll see if we get an answer back from Jack on that one. And Emily says so far she just had rain. Yeah, well,
yeah, good.
You're going to get some more of that too.
Yeah. You know, one of the things we should cover here, it's not in cruising, but it's going to affect all of our listeners, and that's this new Windows 11 thing that you're hearing about, because we should talk about that for all of our listeners at some point. Because it's coming, it's coming in October and November, and everybody is saying, should I get it? Do I need it? Am I forced to get it? And for those that are on the Microsoft side, for all you Apple folks, why? Just have some pie.
Yeah.
But nobody's Houston to Miami. Well, that's 3 hours, right? I think that's about a 3-hour flight. And then he's on NCL Pearl to the Bahamas for 3 nights.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah. Well, then you should have that should be probably a 757 you're on then. American flies a lot of 757s on those runs. So that'll be nice.
And Emily says she and her sister joined the wine club called Bright Cellars. I drink wine once in a while. I drink wine like I drink beer.
Okay.
3 times a year.
No kidding.
Whether I need it or not. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, I just miss I miss the days of a big cold mug of draft beer and
Nikki says her twin sons played rugby in college at Oklahoma. I couldn't watch.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, it's death out there in the field.
Allison says, hands up if anybody's going on a cruise this week. I don't know of anybody from our group that's cruising this week. I don't think. I wish I was going on a cruise. They still won't let people with oxygen go yet.
Now, are you practicing not oxygenating yourself? Do you try that at all?
Yeah, well, I ran out of oxygen yesterday.
That'd be like
the tank that I was hooked up to.
Yeah.
And it was about 10 minutes before I discovered that it was empty. And I said, oh, hell. So let me stick my finger in my odometer thing.
Yeah, the oximeter.
And my oxygen reading was down in the 60s. And it's supposed to be 90 or better.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I still have. Now I'm at 3 liters, which is better than it was.
Was it
5? It was 5 liters at one time.
Yeah.
And then I was at 4 for several months. And then now I'm down to 3 liters. But before I can do anything, I've pretty much got to be down to 2.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll ever eventually be able to get off of it because of, the COPD in my lungs just doesn't want to go away. And I've been through months of nebulizer treatments, and it did nothing except make me cough more. And when I quit the nebulizer here about 4 days ago, I don't think I've coughed since.
And now, is this because you live in a tobacco state?
No, it's because I smoked for 56 years.
Which is because you lived in a tobacco state.
I lived in a cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
For a long time.
And so do you have any advice to people who think they're...
Yes, don't.
Yeah.
Absolutely don't.
And
I'll be more than happy to sit down with somebody and go through all the things that have been wrong with me the last 7 months now, caused not totally, because the prostate cancer wasn't caused by my smoking.
Right.
It didn't help it any, but it didn't cause the prostate cancer. It did a lot toward the spread of the cancer into all kinds of places other than the prostate.
Sure.
Because I had prostate cancer in my, lungs and my back and my elbow and my abdomen and in my legs, and it was all over me. So, and that part of it's gone now. So,
I've lost good friends to smoking. I mean, just absolutely because they smoked. No other reason. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not perfect. I know that in any means, but doggone it,
Yes, Emily, we were talking earlier about Pete's next cruise on the Sky Princess. Of course, he's just got off the Britannia today. So he's been able to do several over there from that's the London portion of what used to be the show. Mike says, I'm cruising in 3 weeks on 3 different ships from 3 different terminals starting Saturday. How are you going to do?
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you do that? Or is there a gap? Is there a gap?
3 cruises from 3 different terminals. You're rolling the dice and you're going to pick one of them at the last minute, I bet. Jack says to hang in there. Yeah. Jack was never a cigarette smoker. That's good, Jack. I know you've had problems as well. Oh, he's been known to enjoy an expensive cigar. Now, see, I was the exact opposite. I never could stand cigars. I was strictly a cigarette man. For years and years and years and years and years, I was a Tareyton 100s guy.
Oh, a Tareyton.
And then when the price of cigarettes went up and Tareyton 100s got to be like, I don't know, god-awful $7-8 a pack. Then I went to Marlboro Lights just because they were cheaper, and that's what I was smoking when I finally quit. Now it's been 6 years and almost 4 months since I quit, which was before the health issues.
My business partner on his mother's side has 3 aunts with cancer right now, and he's a chain smoking Camel guy, and he says he'll quit when if his dad gets cancer, then he'll quit. Yeah. And it's like, dude, you're worth too much to me. I can't risk you doing this. And I just can't get through to him. It's like, well, you should lose weight then. It's like, okay, I've lost weight now. So now what's your excuse now? He never.
Well, I did, by the way, on the weight issue. I'm down a pound finally. I've been stuck. I'd gotten under 290, 289, and I was stuck there for seemed like forever, but finally now dropped down to 288. Mike says, I'll self-disembark and drive like the clappers between terminals. I gotcha.
Man, Mike, that is awesome that you're going to do that. That's really neat.
One of the other things, guys, that we might want to talk about today was the Bahamas edict that they will are requiring all cruise ships to present proof that they are 100% vaccinated unless their kids under 12. Everybody else on the crew and the ship has to be vaccinated with no exceptions.
100%.
One person is not vaccinated, the Bahamas will turn the whole ship away. So immediately, Royal Caribbean and MSC put vaccine-only policies in place immediately.
Well, they also no kids.
No, you can have kids
on NCL.
12 and not on NCL is no kids.
No kids.
Norwegian has, they've had that all along. That's what they won their lawsuit over. But Norwegian's going with no kids.
Mm-hmm.
MSC and Royal Caribbean will accept kids, but the rest of the family, 12 and older, have to be vaccinated. Now, Carnival, I'm still not real fond of the way Carnival is handling this. They're saying, oh, it's no big deal. They've been trying to go for the 95% thing. This, run a test sailing, get approved, and sail with 95%. That still isn't going to fly with the Bahamas. It's got to be 100% of 12 and older, or they're going to turn them away. So imagine what Carnival's doing behind the scenes. They're contacting people and saying, you got to be vaccinated or, we got to issue your refund. And they're not saying that publicly. Now, why they wouldn't say it publicly is beyond me. I mean, everybody else is in the same situation. I've got the feeling we might see this from some more ports too, especially if the Delta variant continues like it's continuing, and now we've got a Lambda variant that's starting to go nuts again.
Have you seen the map of the Lambda variant and where it's bouncing up?
No.
Oh, but it's like Chillie in the not you Chillie, but in the
country
called Chillie. It's really bad. Let's see if I can find that map. I might be able to show you.
But anyway, I find it interesting that the Bahamas has had the courage to do this.
Yeah.
Because that's going, and at least 2 of the cruise lines have joined NCL now as far as the majors go and going along with it. Okay, I can sort of see that.
Now, but if you make me whole page here.
Oh, okay, I got to figure out how to do that. That's this one?
Just click on me, yeah.
No, I got to take myself out.
Okay.
Remove.
No. If you remove yourself, you remove your thing too. You just have to. You just bring yourself back, Chillie. You can't. You just make me solo
layout.
Yeah.
Nope. I got to do solo layout.
There you go.
Exit solo layout. I got to do use solo layout.
There
we go.
There you go. So you can see here over.
My technical skills suck, folks.
Well, he's recovering. But here it goes from 0 at the bottom of this scale over here, and then the darker it gets, the more worse it is. More worse, can I say that? And
Sure.
So you can see down here all along South America, it's the darkest here, on the west side of South America. And America, the United States rather, is in the 0.5%, Alaska, and a little darker or a little lighter for Canada. Spain, for some reason, is in the 1%. But the darkest of it is down there on the west coast of South America. So, and that's just not a good thing. I mean, it's just not a. Oh, I want that.
Okay, so I've got to. Let's see. I got to do this again, and
brings us back together.
Exit solo, and there I'm back again.
You got it.
Yeah, my technical skills are just not what they need to be. Let's see here. Gretchen says, "Yippee!" Jack says, "Continue to lose weight. Your ability to process O2 will improve dramatically. Personal experience. I'm now off all diabetic and high blood pressure medication." That's cool. Well, that's one of the things that, I took lisinopril for years. I had one bout of high blood pressure one time, I don't know, 30 years ago. And they put me on lisinopril, which I took for 30 years. They've taken me off lisinopril now because I don't need it. Yeah. One of the few things about me that's good is my heart. So,
he's got a big heart, folks.
Yeah, it's my blood pressure stays, because that's one of the things that the pulmonary therapy checks all the time. I mean, 4 or 5 times in the hour I'm there. And it's always, right on the nuts where it's supposed to be. 120/80, give or take. So anyway, so we got another variant to deal with. The good news this week is that the vaccine numbers are going up again.
Well, so they are, and now they say that when the FDC actually puts their stamp of approval on the Pfizer thing, I find it so funny that there's people out there that won't take the vaccine unless it's FDA approved.
Yeah.
But they say they feel that there's going to be a huge jump in people dosing when it gets the approval,
which may be tomorrow.
Yes, yeah, or right soon, and that will be wonderful, of course. But I'm surprised that if you're hearing that it's going to be approved, isn't that good enough that it's coming and that you would jump on the I'm waiting. I'm counting the days now till I can get my 3rd dose. So,
yeah, me too.
I mean, I guess because of what I know about vaccines, I don't see that a bad vaccine can hurt you. I'm not into that group of they're putting tracking devices in you, or that this is going to come around and bite you in the butt later or whatever. A vaccine, we've known about vaccines for like 80 years or so.
Yeah.
So to have a variable on a vaccine, there's 2 things that are going to happen. It's going to work or it's not going to work. But that's it. That's about it. A vaccine is not going to come around and bite you in the butt in any other way. It's either going to fight the intended and win, or it's not going to win. But that's what a vaccine is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just.
And I think a lot of people were worried because this is a whole new world of vaccines as far as the those letters. I can't keep up with all the letters.
You know, if you're making a tomato, it's still a tomato. I'm sorry.
I mean, I agree with you.
Yes,
which
and
is
I
why
understand.
I'd had no problem with getting the vaccine as soon as it was available, and as soon as they called me from, I'm assuming the cancer center where I got my first 2 shots. Well, we'll get the booster as well. And
Yes.
as soon as they call me, I'll go jump in my truck and haul my fat butt over there and say, dude, put it in.
Well, that's right. Depending on which class of people and stuff you're in, there's, you know, it's how much time you have to wait. Okay, Kitty, you don't mess with my.
There's Ace.
Here comes Ace.
Ace decided to come join the show, folks. You notice that Charmin and Cottonelle pay absolutely no attention to when I'm on the air.
Well, but Ace, see, there's not people here all the time.
Yeah.
He doesn't. You live in the house. But
yeah, that's true.
This is the video trailer, and especially in the summer, I'm not here much. So sometimes not for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So he's just people hungry.
And Emily agrees with us. She'll stand in line to get it as soon as she gets the booster as well.
And I'm
Jack
sorry,
says,
you know,
my usual lament on vaccines versus recovery. Jack's in an interesting position because he had a strong case of COVID that he has survived from.
And I don't know about that, Jack. I don't know.
There's not been enough information on how much antibodies are produced by having been through it.
Yeah.
As opposed to what the antibodies you get from the vaccines.
Yeah.
One of these days, they're going to get an answer to that one, which so far to me, there's not really been a good answer to that. But
I just know that I would feel terrible if, like in my circle now, we're going to be down to just one child that is too young to be vaccinated yet, according to the rules.
Yeah.
And I just would feel terrible if I was the one who passed this virus on to Sydney. I mean, I love her so much, and we interact every week. And so, I mean, I just wouldn't dream of not being vaccinated to the max. So I just couldn't imagine what, especially now, apparently with the kids that are getting it, they get it hard and they get it fast. And it's tough.
There's been some kids. Well, they've had some deaths now in kids too, but kids that are really sick. I mean,
and it's lifetime lasting things.
Yeah.
You may recover from it, but it's lifetime affecting things. And as older people, we all know what it's like to have a chronic issue. I do not want to bring that upon any child. So
yeah. I'm curious about one thing about you, and I didn't ask you. Normally I ask this privately, but I'm going to ask it on the air. What the hell?
Good. Yeah.
Has your weight, I knew after your surgery, your weight was just hanging about the same. Is it still hanging about the same, or are you
hanging about the same? I got down to 302 this week. Okay. I was 308 when I got home from the hospital after my surgery.
Okay, so it's down a little.
Yeah, but I mean, it was supposed to, according to the brochures and everything people told me, is like, oh yeah, once you get home from after surgery, it's really going to start coming off. And it's like, I don't get it. I mean, I'm eating very little. I haven't had any fun food for a month and a half now. And I'm more active than I've been in years. I walk to every place in the farm. I was just the other day, one day I was thinking, good God, this is the 4th time I've walked out to the far barn today. And where before I would be on the Polaris all the time.
Yeah. And
yet, now my body is changing in form somewhat. I'm stronger. So, some of the, I'm changing in size a little bit because it's going into muscle from fat. But no, I'm a little disgusted right now. Matter of fact, tomorrow I'll be having I have 2 doctor's appointments tomorrow, and then another one in the next week. And it's like, I thought this was going to be a little different than this. So.
Jack will gladly take 10 pounds from each of us. I'd love to send it to him.
Love to send it to you, Jack. I mean, I've got 60 pounds more that I should lose. And, like today we went to the Chinese buffet after church, and I just ate, less than a fourth of what I would normally have eaten at a Chinese buffet. And, back in the day, I was not gaining weight. I mean, I was at a stabilized weight for years. So, how come I'm not losing weight? It's just bizarre.
So one of the things that I've noticed this week in particular, and I adore my PT. They work my butt off, but I'm getting so much stronger. I'm getting so much healthier, even within my framework from the PT. Unfortunately, there's a certain limit to the sessions that's paid for by Medicare. Yeah, Medicare. So I think it works out to 31 sessions or something. I do 3 a week. So it's 10 or 11 weeks that I'll be involved with this. And then I've got to pick up similar type of things at the Y. I can't go back to these folks.
Sure.
But I am really tickled with them. Now, when I had the port removed, Thursday, I am, my chest is bruised like you wouldn't believe.
Yes.
I can't get in the water for 7 days till the incisions. There's 2 incisions. They had where the port itself was, and then the tube runs from the port into the jugular vein. So they had to do an incision on the jugular vein and an incision where the port was, and pull it out and throw it in the trash can or whatever they do with it.
Yeah.
So I'm stitched up in 2 different places, and then they glue they didn't put any bandages or anything. They it's like Elmer's glue on the damn thing.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And eventually they'll dissolve and go away. But I can't get in the water for 7 days. So I'm not being able to go out and do my water therapy that I'm doing on the off days.
Mm-hmm.
So I've tried to walk a little bit more, so I'm at least doing something. But it's just not the same as I was getting a good 45 minutes to an hour of good hard work in the pool every day.
Yeah,
and I'm missing that terribly. So be glad when Thursday gets around, especially when we're going to have temperatures here up in the mid 90s again.
Now you're going to push it like 12:01 Thursday morning. They did say 7 days. They didn't say.
Well, yeah. Remember, my sleeping patterns are different than a lot of people.
Well, 5 o'clock Thursday morning then.
Oh, 5 o'clock Thursday morning, I'll be ready to go. I'll probably be out there. Maybe even at 4.
That's what I mean. So
come 7 o'clock at night, the old fat guy's done for the day.
Yeah.
So
I wish I could do that. Doesn't matter how much stress I've had in a day, even when people have passed away or something, and you've been really stressed from the night before and all that, man, come 9 o'clock at night, I'm good till 2 a.m.
Jack lost 20 pounds by diet and exercise, and then 60 pounds from COVID.
That's something.
Wow. Emily. Oh, hey, there's Michael's with us. Michael, good to see you. Michael. John, I missed hearing about your plans for your planned NCL cruise. We didn't talk about that.
Well, coming up, the plan at the moment is we are flying. We're either going to go Fargo or we may drive to Chicago, but we're going Chicago to Frankfurt, probably on United. And then we're going to stay in Frankfurt for a week and then take the train up to Berlin and stay 10 days in Berlin. So we're leaving like on Halloween Day. Halloween Day the flights are open, and arriving November 1st. And then 10 days in Berlin, and then make our way down to Rome, because I've never been to Rome. And so 3-4 days in Rome, I think it works out to be. and then all getting out to the port of Rome, which I push a button and then Chillie fills in the name for me.
Slovakia.
And then getting on the ship, taking the ship back to New York. And then, but instead of getting then over to JFK from the ship, which is a mess, it's 5 minutes over to the new train barn that Amtrak has built next to Penn Station for the Amtrak train. So I have a room booked on an Amtrak train, the Lakeshore Limited, which goes to Chicago, and then I would switch trains, and that takes me right back here to Grand Forks, North Dakota, 20 minutes from my farm. But I may only use that first leg of that, and we might drive to Chicago, so then the circle would be Chicago to Chicago, or I can do it from here and then catch a flight out of Fargo to Chicago and extend the ends. But that's what's coming up. But of course, there's a big bet on. And so I'm kind of like in poker, I'm betting against myself, but I want to win that $100 bottle of wine from Pete, you know. So I don't think it's going to go. I just don't believe that, you know, right now I can't fly into Germany. So I don't think it's going to open between now and November based on all of the COVID news. I just don't think it's going to happen. So.
And then the other interesting thing that came out of that was John's 2022 transatlantic that he had booked. They canceled it.
Just no excuse, no nothing. The Epic. I'm thinking I don't know where that one was even going from, but just canceled it.
Yeah, that was
gone.
That was a weird one.
Yeah.
Jack says, I still have my port, haven't recovered enough to undergo surgery. I'm worried that I will need more extensive surgery to remove. It was, I tried to put on a good face, especially on Facebook, that, oh yeah, it was a bitch, Jack. I'm going to tell you straight up. It was much worse than I thought it was going to be. Because they don't put you to sleep. They don't put you in la-la land. You're wide awake. And they shoot you up with Novocaine or lidocaine or whatever the hell goes in the needle. But the needle's got to go in the jugular vein and where the port was. And so, yeah, no, I was not at all happy with the way this thing went. And then my chest is bruised because of, there were, I don't know, the band was marching on my chest while they were yanking this thing out of my jugular vein and stuff. It was a pain in the ass, Jack. Make them put you to sleep if you can. So.
And Michael, I will take your suggestions if it is that we're going. I would love your Rome suggestions.
And see, I'm trying to hook him up with the Pope. I think Cruise Amigo John needs to live stream from up there on the balcony with the Pope drinking wine. Now, that would be a cool thing to do for the Cruise Amigos.
Now, you do know how close I got to Pope John Paul, right? Do you remember that story?
No.
Well, we need a show for, but I got down to 44 people with Pope John Paul, and then something happened. Well, you don't. Yeah, it was. I have quite a Pope John Paul story for you.
Okay, we'll do that another
Lutheran.
Day. Let's see what it was that we have here.
Oh, Elizabeth's in Cozumel. Cruise Amigos. Hey, buenos dias, señorita.
How was your weather in Cozumel when the storm went through? Maybe we'll get an answer on that before we end the show.
She might not have been there. If she's there now, she might not have been there. The storm could have predated her. So
pretty sure she lives there.
Oh, Elizabeth.
I believe.
How many bedrooms do you have, Elizabeth?
If I'm not mistaken, is a shop owner, maybe a business owner there.
I
could be totally wrong on that. I live here. Yeah, I thought so.
Well, now I have a bedroom in Cozumel. This is wonderful. Thank you, Elizabeth. Just kidding. Just kidding. Wow.
Jack says, I had muscle weakness from weight loss, breathing difficulty from COVID. I've recovered most of my physical strength, but still have breathing issues. COVID is hard on breathing. Yeah, man, I can imagine.
So Elizabeth, what is the report? Did what was the weather report there? Did it blow through, or how was it?
Yeah, it was landfall down near Tulum, and I think it had dropped down from a category 3 to maybe a category 2 when it first hit. And then it went straight across.
Yeah.
And tomorrow morning we'll probably be looking at it out on the Pacific side. As it's continued on as a tropical something. Depression.
A tropical something.
I don't know.
You get it.
They call things in the Pacific different names sometimes.
Typhoons. Too. They call it a typhoon.
Well, yeah, but they're still hurricanes.
This is still a.
Of course, it's not a hurricane now. It's weakened considerably going all the way across Mexico.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. But I don't think it went all the way across. It went to the land and it hooked. It didn't.
Oh no, it went all the way across. It was sitting right off the coast the last time I looked this morning.
Okay.
Let me see. I've got that up here. I'll leave you for a second.
Ships, though, we had some
while I'm looking that up, I can pull up Eastern Pacific on my map. Yes,
while you're doing
it is located right off the coast.
She said it was a Cat 1 when it went right over them. The east side of the island suffered some serious damage. Oh, hate damage, but as long as everyone's okay. Yeah. Thank you, Elizabeth. Jack,
thanks for the report, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right, guys. Again, we've managed to make our way through a show without anything. I had hoped to have a guest on today. As of yesterday, I had a guest that had just gotten off of a ship. The matter of fact, the Majestic Princess from Alaska. And yesterday he says, I'm available today or tomorrow. And I said, okay, how about 2:00 my time? And I hadn't heard a word from him since. So not sure what happened to him. And then I've got an interview coming up Tuesday, I believe it is.
No, Monday, you said, with Emily.
Oh, Emily, we're going to talk to Emily Monday.
Okay.
And then Tuesday, I've got an interview with a gentleman off of the New Amsterdam.
Really?
So if you ever want live updates from Cozumel, I'm happy to join you one day. That's awesome, Elizabeth. Let's do that. We can do that. As a matter of fact,
regularly. We want to hear from you.
If you're on Facebook, I would assume, and I will either try to find you on Facebook, or if you can find Chillie Falls,
hit up Chillie.
And so we can hook up there. So we've got Messenger to go back and forth. That's our kind of perfect way of communicating.
Send a picture of the bed
whenever possible, and we'll hook up. We'll have you on a show one day just to talk about Cozumel in general.
You're our new Cozumel amigo. It'll be wonderful. This is great.
Absolutely, that would be cool. You're great friends with Melissa. Melissa is one of my favorite ladies. Of course, she's been on a couple times. We struggled getting her on over the Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady, but we finally got.
Melissa kind of started with us. She Pete taught her how to do how to use StreamYard, and Melissa's been with us from day one of her adventure, and she's really worked her butt off. I mean, she's turned her little show into something. We're very proud of her.
Yeah.
So you bet.
All right, guys, we're going to call it a day here from Cruise Amigos Live. That's what you're going to be seeing now from now on, Cruise Amigos Live, and it'll be probably most of the time it's going to be me and John and Martin whenever Martin is not playing a rugby ball. Is that what you call it? You call it a rugby ball?
Rugby.
I don't know. I'm not a rugby player. Gretchen, what do you call a ball in a rugby match? A rugby ball or a rugby football? But anyway, that's what Martin is. He's getting kicked around through the goalposts. Are there goalposts in rugby?
Jesus.
I don't know anything about rugby. I really don't.
Oh, by the way, Tom T. Hall died on Friday.
Yes, and so did the remaining Everly brother that was still alive.
Okay. Tom T. Lived not far from us in Franklin, Tennessee. So
yeah,
85 years old, and we just wish him the best. So.
All right, guys, we're going to call it a day. Thanks for being with us for our silliness and sitting around talking for an hour about absolutely nothing. This has been great fun. I've enjoyed each and every one of you and the comments and so forth, back and forth. And we'll do this again next Sunday. Absolutely. And by the way, keep a lookout for my interview with Emma Cruises. Probably have that posted up sometime.
She is just a sweetheart.
Tomorrow evening. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap us up for today. We'll see everybody next time on the Cruise Amigos. Bye, you guys.